Your gut is a fraction of the size it should be. Hold that. We'll come back to it. Right now, somewhere on Earth, every human culture that exists is cooking food. Not some of them, all of them. The Inuit cook over seal oil lamps in temperatures that would kill you in minutes. Tribes in the Amazon cook over open fire in the middle of the rainforest. Every civilization that has ever been discovered, every single one, cooks. We assume this is what intelligent species do. We got smart, we got creative, we learned to control fire, and then we used it to make food taste better, to kill bacteria, to soften tough meat. Cooking is what you do after you become human. It's a tool, a convenience, something our big, clever brains invented somewhere along the way.
That's the story most people carry. It's backward. But first, not one other animal cooks. Not one. Out of 8.7 million cataloged species on this planet, we are the only one that puts food on fire before eating it. Some animals use tools. Crows drop nuts under roads for cars to crack. Chimpanzees strip twigs to fish termites from mounds. Dolphins teach their calves to use sponges to protect their snouts while foraging on the sea floor. But not one of them cooks. Not one of them has ever, in any observed instance, applied heat to food before consuming it. Why only us?
The comfortable answer is the one you've probably heard. Humans are uniquely intelligent. Our big brains allowed us to understand fire, to control it, to experiment with it, and eventually to cook with it. It's a clean story. Brain first, fire second, cooking third. It appears in documentaries. It appears in textbooks. You've almost certainly absorbed a version of it. It feels like logic. Of course, the smarter animal figured out how to use fire. Intelligence leads to innovation. Cooking is innovation. Therefore, intelligence came first. In 2009, a Harvard evolutionary biologist named Richard Wrangham published something that gutted that story completely. But before his argument lands, you need to feel what eating actually was before fire.
Picture every morning of your life beginning with chewing, not eating. Chewing. Gorillas, our closest dietary comparison, spend roughly 6 hours every single day just processing raw, fibrous food, not finding it, not resting, chewing it. Your gut, if you had never cooked a meal in your life, would be massive, a distended, fuel-hungry organ, consuming nearly a fifth of your entire daily energy budget just to run. You would be eating constantly and still operating on the edge. Your forehead would be flat, your skull thick and compressed. Every calorie the body produced went to the gut. The brain was a luxury the body had not yet been forced to pay for. If you had lived then, you would have spent your entire day eating just to think a single clear thought. This is what Wrangham stared at in the fossil record. At 1.8 million years ago, something cracked open. Homo erectus arrived with a larger brain, a flatter face, smaller teeth, a reduced jaw, and a gut that had physically contracted. The change wasn't gradual, it was a rupture in the fossil record. Wrangham mapped it against the emergence of controlled fire and saw a match. The body hadn't gotten smarter and then started cooking. The fossil record showed the body changing at the same moment cooking began. The brain didn't lead, the gut moved first. But the real mechanism war. In 1995, Leslie Aiello at University College London and Peter Wheeler at Liverpool John Moores University published what became known as the expensive tissue hypothesis. Their finding, the brain and the gut are the two most energy-hungry organs in the human body. Running them both at full size, the math simply didn't work. The body cannot afford it. Every calorie that goes to a large gut is a calorie the brain never sees. Every calorie redirected to the brain is a calorie the gut no longer gets to use. Your brain right now is winning that war. Your gut lost it 1.8 million years ago. Across every primate studied, the pattern held without exception. Smaller gut, bigger brain. Larger gut, smaller brain.
The two organs sit on opposite ends of the same energy scale. The body didn't decide to grow a brain. It shrank the gut. The brain had nowhere to put the freed energy except up. Think of it like a building that's been running one enormous, power-hungry machine in its basement for 1,000,000 years. The machine gets removed. Suddenly, there's energy running through the building with nowhere to go. New rooms get built. The building changes shape. The gut gave. The skull took everything it left behind. Now go back to the beginning. Your gut is a fraction of the size it should be. Here is what that actually means. In 2012, neuroscientist Susanna Herculano-Husel ran the arithmetic on the human brain, 86 billion neurons. She calculated the caloric cost of building and running a brain of that size, and then asked a single question: could a hominin have grown this brain on a raw food diet? The answer was no. Not theoretically no. The math simply didn't work. To fuel 86 billion neurons on uncooked food, a hominin would need to spend roughly 9 hours every single day chewing. There are not 9 spare hours in a survival day. The body hit a hard wall. Raw food could not produce enough extractable energy fast enough to build a human brain. The math didn't work. Cooking cracked the wall open. Heat dismantles the cellular structure of food before it ever reaches the gut. It ruptures muscle fibers. It breaks down starch. It does the first stage of digestion outside the body, before the gut even touches it. The gut receives pre-processed fuel. It doesn't need to be enormous anymore. It doesn't need 6 hours. It contracts. And 1.8 million years ago, that contraction sent a flood of freed energy straight to the skull. Here is what that looks like from the inside. In 2010, researchers studying people who voluntarily eat only raw food in modern environments found that 50% of women on strict raw diets stopped menstruating entirely, not because of illness, because their bodies could not extract enough calories from uncooked food to maintain basic reproductive function. Healthy people, deliberate choice, full access to food, and the body still couldn't do it. It started shutting down non-essential systems to survive. These were people with refrigerators and farmers markets and the ability to eat as much as they wanted. Their bodies were doing exactly what a pre-fire hominin's body did every single day, burning everything, building nothing. The gut gave because cooking forced it to give. The brain grew because the gut had no choice but to stop consuming everything. You didn't become intelligent enough to cook. You cooked, then the body made you intelligent. The order was always backward. Tonight, when you sit down after a cooked meal, when the body relaxes in that specific way, when the fullness arrives not after 6 hours but after 20 minutes, when you can just sit still and think, the warmth in your chest, every thought you have had today, every word you have read, every idea that has moved through your brain, all of it ran on energy a gut somewhere decided it no longer needed. You didn't choose to be intelligent. The fire chose for you.